You know, Pete Thompson doesn't drink coffee.
It's so weird. I can't live without coffee.
I mean, he doesn't do anything like that's fun. He doesn't eat seafood. He doesn't drink coffee. It's like, hey, PT, you want to go get some crabs? I don't eat crabs.
Well, that's interesting. Another Larry David in me. It's too much work. It's too much work for me. I am working way too hard for the limited amount of food.
I was supposed to be right now sitting at Cooters in Clearwater Beach. It's all you can eat crab day on Tuesday.
Wow.
My favorite day.
I love crabs, but you're working too hard for such a little amount of food.
You kind of are. I get what you're saying, but you at least try it. It's like a day where your mindset is, I know I'm going to be working hard, but I just want to have a couple beers, working on the crabs. It's like, this is just what you do with your boys. You don't say, I don't want to try it.
I'm not anti. I'm just letting you know, especially if it's on a wobbly table.
All right, it's Tuesday with Thompson. Let's bring the PT in. Peter?
Hi, Michael. Yes, I'm not a big seafood guy, but like I feel that way to Hunter's point. I feel that way about ribs. I really like good ribs, but then again, I hate how hard it is to work to, I want the meat. I want all of it. I don't want to have to work so hard to eat it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like there are certain foods I won't eat, like if I'm standing at the bar because it's too much like going on. There's too many people near me. I don't want my hands to be all sticky and grimy.
So wings is what you're going with here?
I won't eat wings typically standing at the bar. I don't like eating at a bar. Pete Thompson likes to eat at the bar. I don't like eating at the bar.
If you're sitting.
If that's the only two seats available, more power to us. Plus, at the bar, your beverages come a lot faster at the bar because you're not waiting for the server to go to the bar and then bring it back.
Yeah, but part of eating out is sitting, relaxing, having your own space. I don't like to have
sitting?
Yeah, but I don't have the guy next to me asking me questions. Then I don't have the elbow room that's sufficient.
It's all about the mentality, just like with the crabs. If you're going with the mentality, I'm sitting at the bar, then you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Pete, we actually have a lot of stuff we want to get to, all right?
We do.
People want to hear from you. Malcolm Jenkins, no longer an Eagle. Reaction from the PT.
I'm not pleased. I mean, I thought they'd find a way to get this done. I saw John McMullen's tweet earlier where he talked about it being a tough industry. He did everything right. He never missed a practice, never mind the games or the snaps and special teams. And, what did they do? They just said, yeah, we can't make this work. See ya. I feel like, didn't they learn anything from the Dawkins deal? Didn't they learn anything of how that sapped the energy from the room? I mean, the guy, to me, is more than on the field. It's what he brought off the field to unite the team. I understand that they want to get younger. I understand that Howie Roseman says we're moving on from Jason Peters. Okay, now we're going to be moving on from Malcolm Jenkins too. But I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. And I also don't like, are you kidding? Oh, Jalen Mills is a safety now? Give me a break. I mean, look, I like the Green Goblin as much as anybody, but just because he played some safety in college doesn't mean he's an NFL safety.
Well, what about the story about, number one, Marquand Manuel, who was the defensive back coach with the Falcons? John explained to us how one of his strengths is that he is very good at turning guys from corners to safeties. Number two, I don't think he's just going to be a safety. I think he's going to be Malcolm Jenkins. I think Jim Schwartz said to Mills, you're the guy I'm turning to. I trust you. You're the guy.
Well, and so Jenkins, of course, as you know, then did play as many as 5 different positions. So if that's what they're trying to design up, and you've got the horse whisperer or the D-back whisperer, if you will, and the coach, then maybe it could work. But, and they bring back Rodney McLeod, but that doesn't excite me. I'm not ready to throw a parade down Broad Street for that either. I mean, and quite frankly, there's not a lot of safeties out there. Any of the top guys, they got kept by their own teams. The Broncos kept Justin Simmons, Vikings kept Anthony Harris, Patriots kept Evan McCourty, Niners kept Jimmy Ward. There's no. I'm sorry. Do you get excited if you find out, the Eagles have interest in Clinton Dix? I don't.
Hunter does.
Yeah, I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world. It's not a crazy move. They got to do something. So getting Clinton Dix, although I do think that's a player where the name is larger than what he actually brings on the field. It's a name that people tie to because he's been around the league, but it's not so much a talent thing. But I mean, you gotta start bringing in more players. So I wouldn't be mad with Clinton Dix.
All right, so either Clinton Dix, Von Bell, Demarius Randall, Sean Davis, Trey Boston.
What did you do? Research for this segment?
No.
I absolutely did research for this segment because I knew we were going to talk about it.
You should see everybody's face in this studio right now.
Well, he has it written down in front of him. He's got to, that's how he works.
Well, hey, don't pick on Ron Burgundy for being Ron Burgundy. That's still research.
All right, so
and stay classy, Hunter.
Hey, so Pete Thompson's with us, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. So Jenkins is out. Mills is moving to safety. Rodney McLeod is back. Any of the other moves bother you? Jordan Howard's out. Camus Grugier-Hill out. The defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, Javon Hargrave, very good player. They brought him in. Overall, by the way, free agency hasn't even started yet, but this team looks a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, I think do any of the other moves, nothing bothers me as much as Jenkins. And I think that, right, like,
by the way, Trey Wayne signing with Cincinnati, so don't worry about him coming to Philly. He's off the board. Go ahead, Pete.
Okay, very good. Look, the only one from a fun to say his name standpoint is Halapuli Vate Vaitai. The fact that, but I heard you guys talk about it earlier, the fact that a guy that was barely a tweener, like sometimes starter, not starter for the Eagles, all of a sudden gets this temple of money from Detroit. I mean, and those aren't guys that, to me, and what are the Dolphins doing, by the way? They're throwing all this cash at everybody. Camus, Jordan, come on down. The weather's fine.
Yeah.
No, there's nobody else out there that has the same impact to me. And I thought, the Eagles, they know that it's going to be an unpopular move. So what do? Let's put out a Twitter video of all Malcolm's great plays with Merrill Reese announcing them, and then the fans won't be pissed. No, we're stuck at home without sports. We're pissed already.
Let me ask you this, PT. You seem fired up. Are you one of those people who wanted them to get younger and approach this with young players and speed? I mean, because there are a lot of people, and I think it's the right way to go, that want that. So with that being said, sometimes you got to make a hard decision, and this is one of them.
Well, look, do I want them to get younger? Of course. You can't continue to keep trotting out the fossils and expect to win. I get that. But at the same time, because of the history of this team and because of what took place, I mean, if it wasn't like a passionate, off-the-field, rallies the team defensive guy, you maybe don't have that deja vu feeling. But I can't not think back to 2008, end of the 2008 season, where they said, you know what, Brian Dawkins, we're not going to keep you around anymore. And then he goes and wins the Super Bowl with Denver, and the Eagles secondary went right in the crapper. I'm not saying that the Eagles are going to go right in the crapper because Malcolm Jenkins isn't there, but it's going to be a lot different. And look, I get that they were in a hard situation. He flat out said, I am not coming back for that money. And there's only so much money to go around. I mean, that's the whole age-old argument of, like, you sign the deal, you should honor the deal. But this is a different time that we live in, and he felt he deserved more money.
All right, Tuesday with Thompson, the PT's with us. By the way, some big-time news out there. Number one, Kevin Durant is one of the Nets who has the coronavirus. He is one of the 4 Nets players, and it has just been announced that 15 members of the Duke University community have tested for positive for the coronavirus. Now, 15 members of the Duke University community, it doesn't say whether they play football or anything, just students at Duke University. Here's the next thing. I'm seeing video of them setting up a drive-through area at Citizens Bank Park. It looks like that will be the first spot in our area that you can actually try to go drive through, because, you're hearing, I had somebody text me, say, hey, still no cases here. And I said, numbers-wise, but I know people who have tried to get the test, and they just are told they can't get it. They don't have tests. There are no tests in our area. There's not a sufficient amount of tests in our area. And when you hear 4 Nets, 15 Duke players, it's only a matter of time before the numbers just start spreading like wildfire.
Oh, 100%. And look, the tests are the hardest part. You hit the nail on the head right there. It's not as easy. You can't. So you're not feeling well. You say, oh, I'm going to go get tested. Well, you can't go to your primary doctor or your regular doctor, because then you have the potential of infecting someone else while you're waiting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
So literally, and then the LabCorps of the world, the Quests of the world, they're a little overwhelmed right now as well. And then even then, if they got that, whether it's a swab or whatever, then they literally have to then send that out somewhere else. So, yeah, to see a drive-through thing pop up says they're starting to move in the right direction. And anybody that says, well, there haven't been any cases in South Jersey yet, the key word in that sentence is yet.
Yeah, well, and again, that's just because the testing's not here. And I'll read this, because Ryan hasn't been here because he has the flu, the actual flu. We hope anyway. He tweeted this out about an hour ago. Just got off the phone with my doctor. Here's the problem. No doctor, office, or hospital is testing anyone that doesn't have a fever. My fever was kicked yesterday. The doctor couldn't test me. Can't now. They said if I progress in the right direction, I don't have COVID-19. But the doctor is just laughing, shaking his head, saying all these employers don't know how to handle this, forcing people to have test results when they only have a fever for 1 to 3 days and were bedridden and didn't get to the doctor during that time frame. People aren't, this is the continuing of the tweet, people aren't able to get tested because of lack of kits and only testing fever situations, which most are unable to stay awake and or get to a doctor for at this point. That's the whole point is, I could be sitting here fine. I have no symptoms, but I've been, who knows? So, and if I walk into the doctor, I could say, I want to test, and they'd say, you have no symptoms, therefore we can't test you.
Yeah, I actually talked to Ryan yesterday after you texted me that he wasn't feeling well, and I said, I left a message for him at first and said, well, I guess the bad news is you have the flu. The good news is you have the flu. Like, if you actually have the flu, that's better than having COVID-19. I mean, you'd rather have the flu because the flu is something we know how to fight against. The flu is something that's been around for a while. I did ask him, by the way, if he had a flu shot this year, and he said no, that he usually doesn't get one, and he's regretting that now.
All right, well, we hope he's better. I've told him to stay away for days. I mean, and quite frankly, we're getting to the point, PT. I got a text message from a listener here, and he says, are you guys going to be able to keep broadcasting your show? You've been a great distraction. You're doing a great job, which we appreciate and thank you. I'm telling you right now, I told my girlfriend, be prepared that I'm going to have to start doing the show from the house.
Well, and I texted you last week, I said to you something about coronavirus, and you said, oh, yeah, we had a meeting about that. And I said, well, do I have a show? And you said, why wouldn't you? And I said, coronavirus. I just sent you the same word back.
Yeah.
At some point,
well, we've since changed our opinion on that. You now no longer have a show.
Oh, thanks. That's really breaking news.
Why? Coronavirus. That's why. That's exactly the reason. Well, I texted you earlier and said there's a possibility that we're going to have to shut the building down. And look, I said I was supposed to be in Florida today. The walls have just caved in on us too much, man. My buddy's at the airport right now.
Teaching from home. I taught from home today. I mean, that's a whole new world. All our kids have Chromebooks and they have the ability, but the challenge then too is like, boy, you have a hard enough time engaging them when they're sitting right in front of you. When they're at home, how the heck are you going to get them to actually log on and pay attention?
Well, my buddy is at the airport. He's and he said right now they're only letting the airplane fill one person to each row, so that no one's sitting anywhere near you. So that's
for distancing. Yeah.
By the way, breaking. Nope, never mind. Sorry.
More breaking?
Nope. So it's a fake Adam Schefter.
What was he trying to get you with?
I caught it.
What was he trying to get you with?
Tom Brady will sign with Tampa Bay tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But, it's a fake Adam Schefter. I caught it at the last. It's only because there's two Adam Schefters. One's a real one and one's a fake one, and they were two tweets right next to each other. So he lucked out with that. All right, PT. So stay safe, stay quarantined, don't leave your house, eat seafood.
Well, 3 or 4 of those, but not all of them will work. I'll stay safe. I'll stay quarantined. Yeah. No seafood.
All right. PT like all guests appear via the boardwalk on the hotline. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.